Hi everybody, I'm Ranj, the Veto Plumber. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to be discussing my thoughts and review on the Veto Tech MCT servicing and repair bag. This bag is designed for service and repair engineers, and the kind guys at Veto PAC sent it out to me to review. It arrived just I think a day before my birthday on the 3rd of November, just in time for my birthday, so I was quite chuffed. They sent it out to me at their cost, a non-biased review, but I'm going to have to give them a shout out because they did gift me this bag. I didn't buy it, as the other two bags I did. This bag was very kindly gifted by them to me, for me to actually give you an honest review, unbiased. And all I want to do is make sure I give them a massive shout out and appreciate the fact that they were so kind enough to gift me a bag. So in this video, I'm going to open it up, show you what I had in it, what my experiences were. So over the last month, since the 3rd of November, I've been using this bag daily as my tool bag, carrying all my daily tools that I would use when it comes to servicing and repair. I did also make mental notes to myself of what tools I was using and reaching for, and what tools I wasn't using and reaching for in this bag. So basically all the tools that were carried in my Velocity Rogue 2.0 service bag, I transferred into this bag, and I use this bag predominantly for servicing and repair. However, over the last month, I think I've done about 3 to 4 installations, boiler swap overs, and that's where this bag really shined because it's bigger in capacity. I could carry a bit more stuff. But yeah, this bag is seriously, if you are after one of the most sturdiest, well-built, strongest bag that you could possibly find out in the market, this is without a shadow of doubt built like a tank. It has this beautiful strap, a great solid strong rubberized handle on top. There's enough D hooks on it. Zippers are made out of quality products. It has a fantastically thick plastic base underneath, so it's waterproof. Yeah, you can't go wrong with this bag. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, show you what I had in it for the last 1 month, and then I will discuss how I'm going to use this bag going forward, and if it's actually the servicing bag that will replace my current Velocity Rogue 2.0 service bag that I've been using and I have loved using since I purchased it. So let's get on with it, guys. Here we have it, the Veto Tech MCT bag. This is a bag that I have been using for the last 1 month. The lovely guys at Veto sent this out to me and wanted me to review it. They wanted me to use it and put it through its paces, see what the bag can do. Is it the bag that makes my life easier as a service and breakdown engineer in the gas industry, repairing central heating systems? I was like, yeah, sure, I'm up for the challenge. I'll definitely try it out. So obviously, as you guys know, that previously the first bag I invested in was the Veto TPXL. I love that bag. I truly do love that bag. It's a fantastic bag for breakdown engineers. The only downside it had was that the height was just not enough for me to get my Flue Gas Analyser probe into it, and therefore I was looking for an alternative. And that's when I came across the Velocity, the Pro Gear Rogue 2.0 service bag. That one is definitely taller in height, and therefore that one actually worked really perfect for me in my work. I was able to get my Flue Analyzer in it, get my Fluke T130 electrical tester in it, along with all my hand tools to carry out servicing and repair on gas boilers. But luckily last month, it was my birthday, 3rd of November, and just in time for my birthday, Veto sent out this lovely bag as a gift for me to try, to keep, and to obviously put it through its paces. And I genuinely have been rough with the bag, not because it was a freebie, but because I actually wanted to put it through its paces so that I can let you all know an honest and genuine review of how good this bag really is. I want to open it up and show you what I have inside. So it's got nice big industrial strong zippers on the front and the back. So it's a double-sided bag, so I can show you. Double-sided bag on both sides. It's not the backpack version, because the very first bag that I did ever invest in after breaking both my ankles, and I was like, you know, I need to streamline my toolkit, I actually bought the backpack version, and that just wasn't for me. The reason why I don't like the backpack is because I don't like how wide the bag is on your back, and when you're trying to maneuver around the tight stairs in Amsterdam, I was hitting the walls, and therefore it was just not for me, and I needed something on my shoulder side so that I could maneuver it and twist my body to get around tight obstacles. So that is how I got introduced to all these shoulder bags, and I can show you what I keep in the bag. So a set of gloves, I've shown you all. So just to clarify with you guys, everything you're seeing in this bag actually came from my Rogue 2.0 service bag, but I can just show you again what it all is, just in case people are interested. So a set of stickers, basically just tells us about maintenance, breakdown, and the date when I attended to the property. My contact details are always on the boiler, because I strive and I do my absolute best to help people out, and it's not just like, you know, do a one-off repair and forget about it. I want to hold on to my customers. I want to build up a relationship with them where we're friends and they trust me. Once you build trust up with someone, they will genuinely come back to you over and over again for repeat work and repeat business. So yeah, my little, so there's loads of pockets, and I kept in the front pocket just my little Wera mini Cyclop ratchet. This is the 8005, and the other counterpart to this kit is actually in my jacket inside the house, so excuses for that. I was using it yesterday and it was yeah, I just slipped in my pocket. A recent tool that I invested in was this BBB ratchet. It's basically a torque ratchet set to 6 Newton meters. It's a bike tool, but I was after something for Valent and Romea heat exchangers, just, you know, because sometimes what I also carry in the bag is the Wera A5, but you know, as you can see, the size difference is huge. And again, for me, as you all know, size matters. I'm trying to get the most smallest minimalistic kit to get me out of trouble. So just a little side note, after using this bag for the last 1 month, I've been really looking and noticing what screwdrivers am I using, what am I not using, and therefore I'm going to remove a lot of stuff out of this bag in this video and show you how I'm going to use the bag going forward. But yeah, so this little 6 Newton meter torque ratchet, I love it. It's fantastic for Valence and Ecotex and Romea Avantas. The Romea Avanta says it should be 7 Newton meters, but you know, 6 Newton meters, 7 Newton meters is so small. So what I was doing was that I would tighten the Avanta with the 6 Newton meter, and then as soon as I've done it with that, I would use the A5 just to see how much of a difference it was, and it was negligible. It was so small that you can actually get away, if you're putting a brand new gasket, the red gasket on the Romea Avanta, you can actually get away with a 6 Newton meter, and it makes a perfectly gas airtight seal. Again, my favorite ratchet screwdriver, the Wera 816RA. It does the job. It is so, once you've used a ratchet screwdriver, you can never go back to not using a ratchet screwdriver, especially when it's on a Phillips head or a Torx head. Flatheads, I would always use a dedicated flathead screwdriver because it just gives better control, and I've never managed to actually use a flathead screwdriver with a ratchet and not let it slip. So therefore I never use this flathead on a ratchet, but the Pozzies, the Phillips and the Torx, without a doubt, that's what I would use. My little cheapy tire pressure gauge for checking expansion vessels, and then my absolute favorite spanners, the Bucco 6-inch spanners. So I keep one standard spanner and one of the slim dual ones. They always come in handy. A dedicated 4mm Allen key, a lot of gas valves and a lot of other applications that I find a 4mm Allen key fits perfectly well. A wire brush, I think I've got 2 of these. Yep, I should have it here somewhere. There it is. Two Wera small little quick release type screwdriver bit holders. I use these mainly for setting up gas valves because they're small and delicate and they don't get in the way. Because obviously the other one, the screwdriver handles are a bit bigger and they can be a bit, clumsy in tight spaces when you're trying to set up gas valves. So with the small ones, I find there's a lot more control. A dedicated 10mm flexi head spanner. This is again for valence and for Ramiyas. Silverline knife. This is the only knife I would ever use. I have another one here, a Stanley one, but what I mean, it's the only one I would use is that I prefer the ones that fold away. Again, this is a Bosch heat exchanger brush or comb, whatever you want to call it. Use this mainly because obviously here in Amsterdam, Intergas is like the go-to boiler that everybody normally fits. This fits and works really well on the heat exchangers when I have to brush them down and clean them. I do love this brush. Just an assortment of bits. This was actually a 6mm Wera bit which snapped off. So what I've just done is I've cut it off and I use it basically for as a center punch, or if I want to clean something out like the condense connection on an Intergas, one of the older HR versions. When I need to give it a bash, I'll use this because obviously it's a blunt instrument anyway. So yeah, rather than binning it, always find a use for my tools. I just have to recycle stuff. Out of these bits for my ratchet screwdriver, I always keep with me slotted 3mm. Again, I don't actually use in the ratchet mode. I'll just obviously use it if I need to, but I'll lock the ratchet in the locked position so that it doesn't slip anywhere. I keep a 3mm dedicated Allen key, the small one. This is mainly for Intergas ignition electrodes because they're on the top and they're 3mm. The screws that hold them are 3mm Allen key ones. So I use this to get them open. And then again, another set of Phillips. Oh no, this is a Phillips 2 and a Phillips 1 screwdriver bit. A Weha screwdriver adapter holder. And to be honest with you, this is in this bag. All the bits are still in my Velocity bag. I've never used it. So for the whole month, this actually, like I said, I've come to notice this screwdriver is just sitting in my bag and I haven't even used it for the whole month. So therefore this will be retiring from my kit and it will not be carried in my tools any further. My go-to ratchet I absolutely love, wouldn't work without it, the 8000A by Wera, the flexi head. It moves around and it gets me out of trouble in positions where sometimes a straight 90 degree doesn't work. The offset helps us out. This has to be the fastest ratchet. The teeth are so fine that you really do get faster movement with this ratchet compared to other ratchets. This is a funny story, I can quickly add this in. I was using this hexagon bit screwdriver holder until I lost it, and funnily enough, a year later I went to do a service in a Ramiya Avanta and I found it stuck like that in the gas valve on the 2mm minimum setting on the gas valve, and I was like, oh, this belongs to me. And so I was reunited with this again. So the way I had this set up was the 2mm was for the minimum setting on the Ramiya gas valves, and this is a T15 Torx for Intergas gas valves to set them up on the minimum and maximum. Baco mini, or not really mini, but Baco 90706 incher, but this one only opens up, I believe, I can't even tell because it's not clean. But basically this spanner again is another one sitting in my bag and I don't really use it because it doesn't even get a 15mm compression joint in there or a compression nut. So therefore this is really a pointless tool for me now in my bag, so I'm not going to be carrying this in my servicing tool any further. This little mini 4-incher, that I do love because this I use for adjusting lock shields and stuff. So yeah, this does come in quite handy. This shouldn't be in the bag, but I was on a job the other day and I probably forgot to take it out, but it's a 15mm Baco pipe cutter for copper pipe. Silicone grease, never go in without lubricant, and good old water hawk for all my compression joints. I know a lot of people are now using liquid PTFE and I see that all over Instagram and I'm wondering maybe I should just use it, but it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't. My dad used this stuff, I've used this stuff, I've been in the trade for 23 years, Dad was in the trade for long before I was born. It never failed us. He used to use the Boss White, the one that's dedicated for gas and heating systems, or the non-portable water stuff, but I use this stuff, the Water Hawk, because it's approved for use on gas and sanitary water, and obviously heating water as well. I always keep a dedicated 11mm socket set because some radiators come with 11mm nuts and bolts to secure the radiator to the wall. So that's always in my bag. And another little Wera 813. This is part of the same kit as the ratchet set. That's still in the bag. A radiator valve key. So obviously some that are for the hexagon type. And then you've got the slotted version and the square version. So yeah, so I love this multi-tool. I think this is Monument. And I just keep it as this. I don't actually use the Tommy bar that comes with it. I just use it like that with the grips or a spanner. As you can see, this is a 5mm slotted screwdriver on this end and a 4mm on this side. And they obviously do come out. You can interchange them and swap them around. But this is my dedicated go-to tool to open up the gas inlet valve screw on a Valent Ecotech. Because the gas valve is mounted sideways, I always struggle to find a screwdriver that fits in the space to open it up, and therefore I was like, you know what, I'm just going to slot screwdriver bits and just make my own little tool just so I can get to those, because it's really annoying when you can't find a screwdriver that will fit in the space. So this is perfect. It's only 4 inches, less than 4 inches in length, and it's a ratchet. So you know, I just put my finger in, push it aside with a bit of a ratchet, open it up, do my work, and then close it back off. But actually when I close it, I do use the fixed side so that I don't over tighten it and break the screw. The 250mm Nipex Cobras, the best water pump pliers you can get. I wouldn't go anywhere else for any other ones now that I've used these. I keep a 180 as well, because sometimes you just need a smaller set to get into tighter spaces. Water pump pliers that I was using before I bought the Nipex, and again, like I said, I haven't used this for the whole month, so therefore this will not be going back in my bag. As much as I love it, it's just extra weight that I don't need in my bag. Not a nail file, sorry, a metal file for cleaning ignition electrodes. My dedicated go-to 6mm Allen key bit that I've put together. So this is basically a rapid adapter by Wera, and then a normal screwdriver bit holder, and this one is the impact driver version by Wera for 6mm Allen key. I use this is my dedicated go-to tool for using when I have to open up the heat exchangers on intergases, because they're all 6mm, and that's how I use it. So I open it all up with this, I close it all off, and I leave it till the last few turns, and that's when I then pull out Wera A5, and as you can see, it's set to 10 Newton meters, because that's the setting that it should be for the intergas bolts. And press the button in there, and there you go, that goes in there. I love using this, making sure that all nuts and bolts are secure and tight to the manufacturer's setting. Toothbrush for cleaning heat exchangers such as the Ramia Tezera, which in the UK is the backseat heat onlys. Obviously it's a silicone heat exchanger, and they don't want you to put a wire brush down there, so therefore I use a toothbrush. So in my bag I always keep fault code. This is basically for a Ramia Tezera. In the UK it's the backseat heat only, and obviously, as you probably know, they've got these flashing lights, and obviously these flashing lights and the sequence of the lights tell you what is wrong with the boiler, and I can never remember from the top of my head, so therefore I always keep this in my bag. And the last tool on this side is my Nipex long nose multi-use pliers. So it's got a wire stripper, a crimper, obviously pulling facility, and a nice sharp cable cutter there. I do love this long nose pliers. That's just an old sample test cap from a boiler that I must have removed. As you can see from the front side of the bag, that's all my hand tools except the A5 that was normally on the other side, but all the rest of that stuff is carried on the front, which is the one real plus point of this bag that I love, that all my hand tools were on the one side. And then on the back side of the bag, what I was carrying, my Fluke T130, my continuity voltage tester, my Flue Gas Analyser, the Testo 310, so that fits perfectly well in the bag, in this bag especially. The Testo 510 manometer, yeah, it's got a crack in it. I dropped it about a month ago. Yeah, about I think in the month of November, end of October, and it got a crack in it, but it still works perfectly fine. the Regan Premier Mini 30 U gauge. So when I'm doing a tightness test, I will always do it with a analog manometer, because the digital one obviously can give varying results. At least with analog, you know you're gonna get a proper tightness test done. A little hand pump. This is actually a bike tire pump, and I kid you not, this has come in so useful over the last week or so. What happened was that my Black & Decker drill that I use for drilling holes and recharging expansion vessels, it took a drop, and the attachment for the air pump broke just at the connection where the flexi hose connects to the machine, and I had to order a new one. Good old Amazon. It got delivered within a few days, but in between that time I was using this when I was going to expansion vessels, and I noticed they needed topping up, but there were some that were fully flat, and for that I was using a foot pump that's in my van. But yeah, this does come in handy. Can never go anywhere without a volt stick, just to test for stray electricity. Digital thermometer. I love this to, well, you know, set up shower valves especially, or even when customers think that the hot water is fluctuating, hot cold at their kitchen tap, for example, to prove that actually it's not, and the boiler is doing what it's supposed to do. And maybe your flow rate's set too high, and therefore when you reduce your flow, the boiler stays at a constant temperature. Mirror, telescopic mirror, sometimes used to check myself out, and then most of the time to check gaskets and seals on heat exchangers. And this is a tool that I saw and I thought, okay, maybe I should get it. It's basically a magnetic field tester by Martindale. If the pump, so basically what you do, you turn it on and you put it, touch the nib at the pump on the where the screw where it spins in the middle, and it detects magnetic fields, and then the light lights up. It's a fantastic tool to prove that the pump is jammed or seized. However, the other day I used it and it was giving me readings because it said that the pump is working, because it was. The actual shaft or the rotor was spinning as it should be in the intergas boiler, but the heat obviously wasn't leaving the boiler. So it's only when I took the pump out did I see that the impeller was actually stuck and broken inside the pump housing, and hence why, although the rotor was moving, causing a magnetic field, the actual impeller was stuck and jammed, and therefore it needed replacing. So just to prove, it's a nice proving tool, but yeah, don't go obviously wholeheartedly on what this tells you, or with any testing tool. Obviously use your years of experience and your knowledge to get the job done. That's the best tool you have, is your experience and your knowledge, really. Schrader valve core remover. I have two when I can get the other one out. I keep two because obviously one is a normal size handle, and the other one, as you can see, I cut down because sometimes expansion vessels are fitted in such tight places by the installer, because they're not the ones going to come back. They don't even know, half the installers don't even know that you can actually recharge an expansion vessel, especially here in Amsterdam. They always just opt to buy a new expansion vessel, and I'm like, no, you know, you can charge them or replace the core inside the valve and charge it back up. And they're like, oh really? I'm like, yes, it is possible. This is basically ceramic fat, ceramic grease, ceramic fat for bolts and heat exchanger bolts. So it comes, this is actually what Intergas supply us here with. So it comes in a little tub full of white grease, and you just basically use the sponge to dab it onto the where the two metals meet of the heat exchanger and the heat exchanger burner door, and that will stop the creaking and the cracking noises that you hear. That is fantastic. I've also bought myself a bottle of the stuff. This is damn expensive. It's like 30 euros for a bottle. It's only 200 ml. But you know, I'd rather use this on every single bolt on an Intergas heat exchanger, because the number of callbacks that I was getting in the early days when I didn't know about this, it was, yeah, quite annoying, because you do the great job, service the boiler and everything, and the customer's like, I hear the boiler creaking a little bit, and you're like, oh yes, expansion is normal. Until I found out that there is actually a solution. Put some grease in between it and it will stop the expansion creaking. So yeah, it's normal for it to expand and creak, but obviously that's metal to metal, you're going to get a bit of friction and it's going to cause a bit of sound. So put a bit of grease, job done. This is obviously the stop ends to my Premier Mini. Because this bag is a little bit tighter in height than I hoped it would be, I couldn't actually get the manometer in with this on like that. I had to remove it to get it into the bag. But obviously I didn't want to lose it, so I kept it in the bag. And here's my homemade Flexi Flue Gas Analyser adapter. It's basically this silicone tube comes with your Testo 310. And this I made, so I ordered this from my local supplier. This is the same probe, graduated probe testing, whatever you want to call it, cone. And it's the same one by Testo. But this pipe inside is basically, I bought it off eBay. It's a 6mm stainless steel tube. And I think I was able to order it for like, I think a couple of, maybe less than £2, €2. And it comes about, I think it was 6 inches long, and I just cut it down, slip the silicone tube over it, and that is how I get out of tight spots when I do flue analysis. And the builder, our good old builders that we love, I've gone and put a kitchen cupboard right in front of the test point. And I keep the Wera 335 5.5mm flathead. This I use mainly for removing pump screws. That's most likely the only time I use this. It's not one that I would do anything else with. And yeah, so there you go. That's all the tools in the bag. The only other things in these little pockets I keep is some aluminium tape I keep in the front pocket here. And I was also carrying an iPhone charger in there, a slimline one. However, I don't need to carry that any longer because now I have a new iPhone and the battery doesn't die on me. So therefore I removed that, and I just had a little connector piece there. Good old Valent gaskets for the electrodes. On the side of the bag I was always carrying my nice bright Bosch lights. It's the 12-volt battery in it, but I think when you buy them, no, this one actually uses a 12-volt version. So yeah, it's a 12-volt torch. I always carry that. And the bag came with a strap with little hooks, and I always carry PTFE tape, one for gas, one for water. The bag came with a beautiful shoulder strap, definitely one of the best shoulder straps that comes with a bag. I don't think in the whole 1 month that I used it did I have to adjust the strap. The strap stayed in place. So yeah, fantastic strap. On this side here, this pocket, just a little bit of miscellaneous stuff such as, you know, cable for, again, just jumping connections to prove things are working. The copper grease for Valent heat exchangers, and in this top one, some stickers. The round ones I mainly use for sticking on carbon monoxide alarms and on Nest and the Honeywell T6 receivers that you wire to the boiler, so I always stick that on there, a bit of branding. And then I think I've got the blue ones in here. Yep, the blue ones. These blue ones are when my company was called the Bearded Plumbing Co. Now it's called the Bearded Heating Co. I will do another video explaining that in the near future, but again, I don't like to throw things away. If it works, it works. The number's the same, and even if someone was to actually go to thebeardedplumbingco.com, it'll be rediverted to thebeardedheatingco.com. So therefore, it's not a big problem. I still stick that sticker on every boiler I install, so I know it's my install. That, my friends, is the wrap for the bag. It has more pockets on the sides that I weren't really using. But yeah, like I've said, this bag, seriously, if you were after a bag that did it all, this is the bag for you. Now, my verdict is that this bag is definitely a wonderful bag. For the whole month of November in 2020, I used it, I abused it, I put it in wet places, and it was waterproof because it has a nice, very thick plastic base. I've used it, I've abused it, no zip broke, no damages. The only thing I've noticed is on where the strap fits. A bit of the black paint was scraping off, but you know, that's wear and tear. That is the least of my worries. I was able to dangle it and hold, you know, even pull it sort of quite aggressively from the handle on top, and it's built so well that build quality wise I would give this a 10 out of 10. I just can't fault it for the quality of the build. Usability, I would personally give it an 8 out of 10. The reason why I would give it an 8 out of 10 is because I don't like the depth of this bag. It's a deeper bag, so the width is fine. The height could have been a couple of inches, maybe 1 inch, even 1 inch, just so that my Flue Analyser it had to fit just right to get the zip to close. And also even the Regan Premier 30 U-gauge doesn't fit in the bag without removing the bungs, the non-leaking bungs from stopping it from leaking. So I had to remove that. So the bag is just high enough to get the Regan Mini in. For these small little things, that's why I would give it an 8 for usability for me personally. It was just that it was too wide this way, and that meant when I was going up some stairs in Amsterdam, it's a bit tight. The bag was catching a little bit, because you got to remember, when I go up the stairs, I carry this on one shoulder, and on my other shoulder I have my 14-litre Gorilla buckets for draining down with hose pipes and towels and whatnot, and obviously the drill with the expansion vessel pumping kit on it. So for that reason, this bag gets an 8 for usability for me. After a month of using this bag, I've come to a conclusion of how I'm going to use this bag as part of my daily life as the bearded plumber, and it is not my go-to service bag. I will not be using this bag as my servicing day-to-day bag, because there's another bag that I feel fits better in my lifestyle as the bearded plumber in Amsterdam, and that is the Velocity Rogue 2. This is still my go-to service bag, just because, as you can see side by side, let me try to get it level so that yes, there you go. Okay, so side by side, it looks it's negligible, but the Rogue 2 is just slightly higher. It fits my U-gauge and my Flue Gas Analyser in this bag a lot better, and as you can see, it's a lot narrower. It's a lot shallower this way as well, so in every way this bag is slightly smaller, but I can get everything that's on this table that was in this bag back into this bag. So for a bag that's smaller and has so much capacity, it's a no-brainer for me to not use the Velocity bag. So therefore I'm going to go back to the Velocity bag. However, you guys also know that I have the Veto TPXL. So I have 3 bags, and I've actually been giving it some real consideration, some proper thought, and I know how these bags will work in my life. Veto TPXL is going to be basically my personal bag that I keep in my family car. Sounds very strange, I know, but most tradesmen will know that when you're good at what you do, and you're at a friend's house or a family member's house and something may need tweaking whilst you're having a beer, I'm that kind of person that if I know I can sort something out whilst I'm somewhere, I will do so. So therefore, in my family car, I want to keep my TPXL fully loaded, or only hand tools, no Flue Gas Analyser, but it will have all my hand tools, because as you know, we all have more than double of our hand tools usually. So therefore, that bag, because I do love that bag as well, it's just that bag hasn't got the height to carry my Flue Gas Analyser. It's totally fine, because I don't actually need to carry my Flue Gas Analyser to a friend's house to fix a leaking radiator probably, or a leaking tap, or whatever it may be. So therefore I would carry the TPXL in my family car. The Velocity Rogue 2 will be my day-to-day servicing and breakdown bag, as it has been since summer, since I got it. I'm super happy with that bag. It hasn't let me down, not once. It fits on my shoulder, it's part of my daily life. It's a bag that I'm much more comfortable with. And again, like I said, because it's narrower and when it's hanging on the side of my body, it just feels better connected to my body. And it's not an extra add-on to my hip, and I don't have to sort of think, oh, I have to maneuver a little bit more to get up a staircase. And that's why I'm going to go with that bag as my servicing bag. And this wonderful bag, during the month of November, I think I must have done about 4 installs. I must have installed 4 boilers and maybe sorted out a couple of big radiators. And what I found was that this bag actually carries a lot more tools. It's got more capacity if I needed to, especially if I'm not carrying my Flue Gas Analyser and any of the testing equipment. If that is not in the bag, and I have both sides available for hand tools, this bag can actually carry so much more that I can free up more space in my van by having this one bag as my install bag. That is what I have found by using this bag for a month, that, you know, I know that I was meant to use it as a service and repair engineer, and not as a predominant installer. But I'm not a full-time installer. I will do an install only when the repair is uneconomical or it's just too dangerous, the boiler is just in a bad condition, that it's better to just change it. That's the only time I do installations, and that's why this bag at that point will be so suited for me, because I can carry almost every single tool that I could possibly need, like olive cutters, a little crowbar, even a hammer. Because as you can see, I've never shown you a hammer in my tools, but although I have, like, here you go, here's one here. I obviously have the tools, I just don't need them as a service engineer. So therefore, this bag can carry a hammer in it. I'm sure it can. Let's try. Oh, okay, not this one. This one is the bigger version. So, okay, just means I have to get a smaller one. But there you go, quick little sample done, that it doesn't carry the hammer inside this bag. So I'll get a smaller one. But yeah, it is a fantastic bag overall. So for anyone that wants to buy once and buy right, and you don't want to buy multiple bags, then maybe the MCT by Veto is the bag for you. It's just not for me. You know, it just doesn't fit in my daily life as I would want it to, compared to the Velocity Rogue 2. So yeah, I am not knocking this bag in any way at all. It is a fantastic bag. Just as a service engineer, once you've sort of found the perfect bag that you were looking for, it's quite hard to beat it. And for me, the Rogue 2 by Velocity, without a shadow of doubt, is my favorite bag that I love using. And it's funny that for the last maybe 2 weeks, I was actually counting down to this weekend so I could film this for you guys and go back to the Velocity bag. That's how much I love that bag. So I hope this video has been helpful. That's what I'm here for. Just so, again, you know, you guys can make the right decision on buying the right bag. I really sincerely want to give a massive shout out and a huge thank you to Veto Pro PAC for sending this bag out to me. Like I said, this bag is phenomenal. It is fantastic. It's built to last. It comes with a 5-year guarantee. Just register it. I am going to say a small disclaimer that it says if once you register, you get your free bottle wrench opener. And I'm not going to lie, I do love a good beer. And for that, I use the Weira bottle opener. I'm trying my hardest to get hold of the red and yellow version, the electrical insulated one, and I just can't find it anywhere. But that's a small note. I'm not an alcoholic, I just love my beer on the weekends. But I haven't received a single bottle opener. I've now registered 2 TP4Bs. I've registered so I also have 2 TP4Bs as well. So I've registered 2 Veto TP4Bs, a TPXL and this Veto Tech MCT, and I still haven't received a bottle opener, and I would sincerely appreciate, guys, you can send me a bottle opener, even if it's just one as a souvenir, because I'm a bit of a collector. As you can see, I have this Velocity jacket, and I don't even wear this Velocity jacket to work because I appreciate gifts and I like to hold on to my gifts and not damage them. That's just the way I am. But yeah, back to the bag. I would definitely recommend this bag to anyone that is a service and a breakdown engineer. Just note that it's not high enough to freely get your Flue Gas Analyser in and out of it, or your Regan Premier 30 Mini U-gauge. Otherwise, it fits everything. That screwdriver I think is a 200. It's a 200 mil long blade, and then the handle that fits directly in the bag perfectly well. So all these tools fit into the bag, plus more. You can get so much more in this bag. And like I said, going forward, I'm not going to be carrying my Flue Gas Analyser and the U-gauge in that bag anymore. So therefore, it'll free up some more space, and I will be able to use it as an installation bag because it can carry more tools. And the TPXL will be my breakdown repair bag for keeping in the car, because I want to always keep a set of tools with me no matter where I am, because like I always say, with great power comes great responsibility. I don't have a power, but I just have a special set of skills that I love fixing things, and if I can fix something and help someone out, that's what I'm there for, and I will feel good about it. So yeah, going forward, you'll see the Velocity Rogue 2 back on my shoulder. This is going to be my go-to bag again for daily purposes, for carrying around when doing servicing and repairs. And on that note, guys, live long and prosper, and I wish you guys a fantastic time ahead. Christmas is around the corner. If you want any hints and tips and advice on what tool to get, what could make your life a little bit easier, or even if you want to give a little nudge to your partner and be like, hey, I need this tool, hit me up, leave a comment below. Again, I'm always open to criticism. Positive criticism is always helpful. Negative criticism is also good. One of my last videos, someone said that the video wasn't bright enough, and I've taken extra precaution this time to make it more brighter, so that it's more pleasurable for your viewing. So yeah, always leave me a comment. I will respond to you. Please kindly follow me on Instagram at The Bearded Heat & Co. Also on Facebook at The Bearded Heat & Co. And like, share, subscribe. It helps. As you all know, I love making videos. I'm going to carry on doing it. I'm going to try to do it every week. And on that note, live long and prosper. I'm going to love you and leave you. Until next time, stay safe, guys. Bye-bye.